What was your connection to Dr. Dre?
My connection with Dr. Dre, let's see. My cousin, Big Chuck, was head of A&R. Chuck was G's manager.
The drama, what was it called? The Drama Family?
Drama Family.
Right.
Yeah, Chuck used to be G-Rap's manager.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when I left Arizona, I came to California because Chuck was here. So Chuck was working over at Aftermath when they first got up and running. So I'd be over at the old Interscope offices on Wilshire. And that's how I ended up meeting Dre, of course, on video shoot for something, one of Eminem's videos. Same way, same reason, that's how I met Fred Durst. Everyone who was in that whole family. I spent a lot of time up there, almost every day.
Okay. You and Dre messed around, but was it anything significant or?
No, Dre and I were around each other often because of the connection. So I think that we tried something that to me didn't work. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're around someone and you want to know, and there's a chemistry or there's a tension, you know, and you're around each other for a year or whatever, and you're like, maybe hey, let's go on a date, let's go to dinner, let's see if it works. And you try it and you're just like, let's just be friends.
Right.
And that's how that was.
There was a chapter in your first book, about you were hanging out with Exhibit, and I guess you guys went to go hang out with Diddy, and it was at a gay club?
It was at a club, and there were gay people in the club.
Okay.
That's how I wrote it, because I don't know whether it's a gay club or not. It's a club.
And there were gay people in the club.
And there's always gay people in the club.
There's always gay people in the club.
There's always gay people everywhere.
Right.
They're people.
But it wasn't
go
like
out.
a gay club, like dudes wearing like the leather straps around their chest and the biker hats. It wasn't one of those. It wasn't an S&M kind of club.
No, Sean took us to a club. He was very wonderful. We had a great time at his house. We all piled into cars. We all went to the club. X was hype. We were all living. Like we were having fun. Like we were probably all high as kites at this point. I know we were definitely drunk. It was like the whole New Year's thing. So it was like the first 2 weeks of that particular New Year. We partied. We got there for New Year's Eve. We didn't leave till the middle of January. It was so much fun. And, you know, X was body slamming and stuff. Like he was doing all these slam dancing. It was great. And I'm sitting on the sidelines watching him. And I look around but this was after a particular conversation him and Sean had upstairs at the house, where Diddy said to Exhibit, you know, be careful with her, speaking about me, because I had known Sean before. You know, she'll have you on tape with, this is a quote that X told me, she'll have you on tape with fingers in your booty. That's what he said. So when X we were kids. We were just crazy kids. So when X comes down and he's like, you wouldn't believe what, you know, Puff just said. Right. So I was like, why would he say that? He's like, I don't know. So that was like a joke that we had.
Okay. There's a part in your book, you know, I'm starting to come back to me now. I guess when you met Puff, he said, you know, he pointed at you and said, I'll take her, or something like that.
Is that what happened? Probably.
Something like that?
Probably what happened. I don't remember how. I know we met through Irv Gotti.
Okay.
I think. And I'm pretty sure we were in a truck. All of us from Murder Inc. were all in an SUV or Suburban or something. We pulled up, I think it was like at a club or something. And Diddy came to the car and he saw me and he was like, that one, send her back to the house or something.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay. So we end up going to the Murder Inc. house for a second, and then, then I ended up going to Diddy's later on that night. And that was kind of weird. I think it was a little weird. I remember he lived in Nelly's old house. There was this house that everyone rented off of Sunset, and Nelly used to live, so I knew the house well. And because all the Nelly and all the lunatics used to stay there, so we used to all party there. I knew every inch of the house. And I went, and I remember there were bodyguards outside in the driveway. This is the first time I saw actual guards. not like security, like
Yeah.
actual, like talking into the sleeve, like a detail.
Yeah.
Diddy had the first detail I'd ever seen.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this is an amateur hour. This is like real, you
It's
know?
real shit, right?
Yeah. And then, yeah, I went to the house that night. We hung out that night and a few more times after that at the house.
Okay. I mean, when you look at, you know, your background, what is it about entertainers that keeps drawing you back? Because when you look at, you know, not only the people you mentioned in your book, but also the people you were married to, there's always a link back into entertainment, you know, and, you know, including like your new book, you know, which we'll get into, of course, you know, as well as, you know, your ex-husband and stuff like that. I mean, essentially every person is either in entertainment or has strong ties, you know, even down to like Damien being the cousin of, you know, what I mean,
Right.
of Rohan Marley. You know what I mean? It's always that. What is it about you and entertainers?
I like creatives.
Okay.
I like creatives. I'm always drawn to people who create things because I create things.
Okay.
And I am inspired by people who create things. I love when the men in my life, because they help me create. So if I want to be inspired, sometimes if I'm having a hard time writing something, I'll go to the studio and hang out with my friends and watch them make music, and I'll start writing. You know, when I wrote my second book, I was on Wayne's bus for most of that time, just being there, you know, around him and studios with him, and I love creatives. So I'm drawn to people who write, people who perform, people who have to get into the same zone I have to get into in order for me to create things. Because when I am with people who are not creatives, it doesn't work out very well.
Okay.
Because they don't understand the process. And so if I need to lock myself in a room for 3 months and drink myself half to death, or listen to my music blaring until 5 o'clock in the morning, or whatever that process is for me, someone who has to get up and go to work in the morning does not understand it, doesn't get it, doesn't want to get it, doesn't get it. If I need to be out for 3-4 days with my friends or in the studio and not eating, not sleeping, whatever it takes for me to click into, whatever I got to click into in my brain, the average person doesn't understand the process. So I prefer to be with people who have that process, who are connected to the process, and so that they understand me.